Every single thing that you needed to accomplish tonight, you did not get accomplished. Like, for example, running the football. You know, I look at LSU's rushing attempts, 17 carries, 64 yards. No, excuse me, 21 carries, 64 yards. Guys, that ain't going to cut it. And, you know, today you guys were on Twitter when I was talking about South Carolina, who is your next opponent, by the way. You got on to me about looking at that South Carolina defensive line. All right. You about to be in a war next week. You're going to have to go out and prove that you can do something when it comes to running the football, because right now you have issues. You have problems. Let's call it what it is. Now, we'll get into that. There are a lot of positives in this game. There are a lot of negatives. Let's get to all of them. Before we even get started, every single postgame show is brought to you by our good friends over at betonline.ag, where the action happens. I was over on BetOnline all day today. Boy, made a little coin. Thank you to Oklahoma State in the second half. Boy, what a game that was today. Thank you, South Florida, in the second half. Or in the first half, excuse me. Thank you. Thank you so much for being who you are. Second half, you got blown out. And thank you, Nebraska. So I put the biggest bet on Nebraska today. I gave you the game picks this week. Should have been over there and listened to them. So it looks like we're going to be 7-3 again. Not too shabby of a day. Let's get into this. Also, every postgame is brought to you by our good friends over at the Athletic Collection, shop.tac.com. Use that promo code AYS20 at checkout. You'll receive 20% off of your order. Look, first half, like normally in these post games, I come out here and what I do is very simple. We go drive by drive talking about the entire game. I take your thoughts, especially take all of your super chats. So if you have thoughts, questions, concerns, you know what to do. Fire in those super chats like Matthew did just a moment ago. But I'm not going drive by drive. We got to talk about holistic problems and positives that we have with this team. You know, you came out to start the game. You get the ball to C.J. Daniels for 16. But then as soon as you start getting one positive, Will Campbell false start. Aaron Anderson can't break out of a shoestring tackle. Sampson can't stay in bounds, which you were hoping that he would have a good night. He didn't show up at all. Nuss has a bad pass that's incomplete, and you have to punt. Guys, you're in a legitimate dogfight all night long when it comes to the first half. Now, obviously, you separate in the second half. You win 44-21. They don't score again. Great deal. But the whole first half was about as sluggish as I can remember a Brian Kelly team after a loss. Maybe Auburn. Maybe since Auburn 2022. Because tonight, you were sluggish as a son of a bitch. That's just the truth. Blame it on a weaker opponent, not getting up, not enough fans there. Who gives a Rudy Poo? Because let me tell you what championship level teams do. When they get beat, they come out like what Clemson did today and put it the smack it down on somebody's candy ass. And guys, I'm not trying to poo-poo on Nicholls on what I'm about to say, but this is Nicholls. They're not a premier like FCS team. Now they make the playoffs every year. Rebo, has that. Tim Rebo has that thing moving. Good for them. But they gave a shit tonight. Clearly, in the first half, you could give two flying shits about what was going on and what was happening. Because I look at the first half, 3 and out. Then you force one defensively, and then the next 3 or 4 drives that they are 3 drives that they have, guys, it's 10 plays or more in the first half. Know why you can't hang 70 on them, which you could have, but you can because you're playing vanilla defense And I get that you're playing vanilla defense. I get that you're not playing your a lot of starters, but guys, your entire secondary that is a starter was in the secondary midway through the third quarter. You just didn't care tonight. Now, are there some positives? Yeah, I think there's some positives. Looked good, pretty efficient at times in the passing game. Garrett Nussmeier went 27. Let me look at this. This is wrong, guys. Yeah, it's wrong. Yeah, you got to update it. But Garrett Nussmeier goes 27 of 37 for 302 and 6 touchdowns. I thought he was efficient. I thought he had some bad throws. You know, you get to a place where when he got hurt earlier tonight and started cramping up, you're like, please, God, just be a cramp. Please, God, just be a cramp. But it was efficient. Had some bad throws. I will admit. Got to get better with some timing on some of these. But for what it's worth, I thought he played pretty efficiently. C.J. Daniels, I love the fact that C.J. Daniels got involved tonight. 4 catches, 71 yards. Look, you're going to have to find him the football. He showed you tonight. I know it's Nicholls. You got to get number 4 touches. Now, it's kind of limited in getting him touches because you couldn't get off the field tonight. You know, I am not anyone to blame Brian Kelly or point a finger at him when you have a win. Because you got so many things that you need to work out on offense that you got to tell Baker or come up with a game plan to some extent. Like, hey, if being vanilla isn't working for you, like show some of the things we showed last week. Guys, you didn't get after the quarterback at all tonight. Now, they didn't throw the ball a lot, but you couldn't stop the run. Jacoby and Guillory, which Glenn West is reporting that Jacoby and Guillory, the defensive tackle, left on a wheelchair and it looked like an air cast. That is horrible. You got bumps and bruises tonight all along your team. Not good. But I do like that you got C.J. Daniels to football. Look, man, here's just the truth. Whether I want guys like C.J. to get the ball more, the number 1 target on this team is Kyron Lacy when Garrett Nussmeier is his quarterback. Going to him 3 times in the end zone, touchdowns. He gets 1. So I like that. I like that a lot. Now, here's the thing that we need to get to. Those are some positives that I liked on the offense. All right. I thought, at times where you were sluggish, it was what it was. But efficiently move the football, sometimes at will, through the passing game. Here's where we needed to talk about a couple of things. Here's my thoughts on the running game at the current moment. Guys, here's what I think happened tonight. Okay, I'm not going to overreact to it, but it's something that we're going to have to talk about all next week. Oh, I didn't? Okay, guys in my ear. Everybody do us a favor, too. Hit the like and share. There's over 2,200 of you in here. So do us a favor. Hit the like and share to all those groups on Facebook, all that stuff. Hit subscribe, all that good stuff, too. Here's what I think could be going on with the running game for this specific game. Maybe you were trying to take it easy, not trying to get your backs hurt. Look, you went to Juwan Johnson pretty early this week. Now, Juwan Johnson out of the backfield scored a touchdown, didn't play in the second half really at all. But you just could formulate no running game. Like, I look at Caleb Jackson's stat line again this week. Couldn't get anything going, man. 9 carries, 19 yards. Josh Williams, 4 carries, 19 yards. So there's definitely something going on in the running game and something that they're going to have to get fixed out in the interior. Now, I know you're kind of into the season now, but look, Tyree Adams struggled tonight at guard. Struggled. Him and DJ together, 2 first-time starters, they struggled being next to one another. And I'm not 1,000% sure that this week you might not need to start experimenting with putting Tyree Adams at right tackle and Emory Jones at left guard. I don't know what you want to do with Delhi and at right guard, but the God's honest truth is, man, you're getting zero interior push. Zero. I don't think either one of your tackles are playing bad. Actually, I know they're not playing bad. I know that Emory had a difficult game last week, but he didn't do bad enough to where you would say he's a problem by any means. I mean, guys, you're going to be a top 20 pick in the NFL draft. He had a tough game, but he was good enough for you to win. That's for goddamn sure in the running game. So, look, I'm not going to overreact. You played an FCS opponent, but the thing about coming in these post games and having reactions for myself and for everything else and everybody else, the problems that I'm starting to have is that you can't get Caleb Jackson any room. There's no lanes to run the football. And I know that Sloan comes from an air raid type of schematical offense. I get that. That is his bread and butter. Catch the ball, throw the ball. Catch the ball, throw the ball. Guys, that's why a lot of these pop passes and quick passes, that is what they want to do. That's the tree that Sloan comes from. But if you cannot line up and run the football on an FCS opponent and quite honestly uppercut them all night long like you're Mike Tyson in the paint, then you have issues. Now, there's parts of this that I feel as if that you were just trying to not get hurt. And I feel that. Actually, I know what's going to happen this week. I know Brian Kelly's probably in his post game going to say this, right? Like I have a pretty good assumption he's going to say something where, we're trying to keep our backs healthy. We used Juwan Johnson. But even then, man, 21 carries for 64 yards against this opponent is not good. Guys, you had 23 yards rushing in the first half. I know you're trying to get Garrett looks. I know that you're trying to get Garrett stats. I get all of that. But none of that shit matters. You threw the ball 38 times tonight, which I don't have a problem with, okay? And then you ran it 21 times. Garrett Nussmeier having a couple of them. Now, let me talk about this, okay? Because I think that this is significant in the running game. We'll start getting all your super chats, thoughts, questions, concerns, okay? I love that Garrett Nussmeier talked one and ran that thing. You got to keep teams accountable with your run game. And I promise you, as God is my witness, you're going to think I'm unbearable next week, some of you. You're going to think I'm unbearable. Because if you don't get Garrett out in space to run the football and get down, they're not going to respect a damn thing that you're doing. And they're going to get after your ass like they got after Kentucky today. That front seven for South Carolina is, all right, y'all keep playing with them motherfuckers. Right? Don't play with them. Don't play with them. Sorry for the big MFer there, but it's just the God's honest truth. Because deep down, if you watch that South Carolina defensive line, like at least I did against Old Dominion, okay, Old Dominion scored 10 points. That wasn't on the D-line. They had a fade route that the DB slipped on, and they scored a touchdown. Guys, here's the truth. In the last two games for South Carolina, they're giving up 8 points. By the way, they played an FBS and FCS opponent like you did. Or no, a group of 5, Old Dominion. It's a group of 5. You better not walk off in there and think that you could just run the ball on them. It's an issue. It's an issue. Whether you want to admit it or not, it's an issue. All right. We'll get to some week 1 stuff here in just a moment. Let's get to a couple more things before I get to your super chats, though. I'm sorry. Ricky Collins comes in for Garrett Nussmeier as the second guy. I don't mind that. I thought Ricky had a really good throw along the sidelines. I'm pretty sure it was Aaron Anderson. Really good throw. I love seeing that for Ricky. Was on time. looked good doing it. Looked good. I love the throwing motion he had. Looked crisp, man. Looked really, really, really crisp from Ricky Collins to Anderson or Thomas. I forget. Maybe it might have been Thomas, but looked really good doing it. I wish we would have seen 10 more of those throws. Really, really wish we would have seen 10 more of those throws. But here's the thing, man. I feel like we got nothing accomplished. Nothing accomplished. Let's move to defense. So when I look at what happened tonight, okay, as an example, and I look at what Nicholls did, guys, they played the ultimate Tim Rebowe style of football. Go watch any Nicholls game. Run, 3 yards in a cloud of dust, but they're going to spread you out and doing it. That's what they did all night long. Here's the problem that I have, though. They had 38 carries for 150 yards. They ran the ball, okay, at about a 3.9 per yards per average clip. That's not actually that bad, but when your style of football, okay, especially when they broke off a long run, probably on average they're averaging about 2-3 yards a carry. That's not bad if we're just being honest, but it's that they ran the ball at will on you and you just kept playing vanilla. You know, in the second half, you didn't play vanilla. You know, the first 2 drives when you forced the 3 and out, and then you didn't see the second one because PJ Woodland punched out the football and you got the ball back. I mean, you came out with like 7 guys on the line of scrimmage and you were about to blitz and you backed out of it. So there are some things that I liked defensively. Like guys, nobody cares more than Deshaun Spears at the current moment. Deshaun Spears made more plays tonight on film than anybody that was on that field defensively. He was all over the place. And now that you got PJ Woodland at one corner and you move Sage, so tonight, in case you miss it, Sage Ryan moves over to safety. I mean, we're going to have to start having some debates like, man, guys are going to have to start having shorter leashes here. Those kinds of things can't happen. Now, I was told that this Guggenheim, the running back tonight, number 19. Guggenheim, that kid just ran all over you, and you didn't have an answer. I want to make something of note, too, okay? The safety, all right, so the safety that they had, meaning Nicholls, okay, technically in the stat book, that goes down as a negative 24-yard rush. So when they kick it out of the end zone, it just goes as a rush on the team. Like, go look at it yourself. So that whole punt, so basically they ran for about 174 yards on you. Nicholls. So when they got there and they lined it up on you, they ran at will. 175. I mean, let's just call it what it is. But Guggenheim, that kid went off on you. You didn't have an answer for his ass all night long. You know, the one that really pisses me off the most, or what really ticks me off the most, is the one where he broke for 60-plus yards and scored. Like, bro, y'all can't catch that white, slow son of a gun? I mean, bro, the dude was running, and I legitimately thought Christmas was about to be here before he scored. Like, what are we doing? We're loafing around. And I'm going to bring this up, too, before we get to everything. I don't know if this is how I want to end it off. Harold had a bad night. Harold had a bad night. Whether he didn't give a shit or whatever, didn't have a good night. I mean, we're running the Weeks brothers out there that their strength is playing in coverage and playing in space. All right, cool. They're running the ball right at you. Greg Penn tonight, for what it's worth, when Greg was in, guys, they didn't run the football as effectively on you. It's the only thing I can say. But D-line got pushed around, and your linebackers just didn't give a shit. Now, how much of that is you being vanilla like Bluebell? I don't know. But you were as vanilla tonight defensively as I've ever seen Blake Baker be vanilla. Now, we're going to all chalk that up to he didn't want to show anything. Guys, there's not much more that he hadn't shown after that USC game. There's other things I'm sure he'll put in and other things that they'll run based off the teams that they're playing. Okay? But come on. Like, guys, I see, here's my school of thought, okay? My school of thought is doing like what Georgia does defensively. Like, I'm watching Georgia today, and they don't give two Rudy Poos who they're playing. Their defense is their defense, and they're going to call it whether you like it or not. Stop me, you son of a gun, because everybody knows what I'm running. Everybody knows what I'm doing anyway. Shit, I've been here for 9 years. Everybody knows what I'm doing. There's no secrets anymore to what Kirby Smart is doing. Maybe how he utilizes different personnel, okay, fine. But you got to get those reps in the game. Being vanilla is such a like beta move. Not calling Blake Baker that, because that's what some of you will hear. It's not. That game plan in that is just so soft, and I hate it. I don't care it's about on an FCS opponent. So, yeah. All right. We'll pick up some phone calls here tonight, too, at the end of the show. We'll get you your super chats, your comments live right now. Do us a favor. Hit the like and share. There's over like 500 of you on YouTube. Do us a favor. Hit that like and share. If you're on Facebook, too. By the way, new verified Facebook and Instagram. It only took 1,000 episodes. This is episode 999 right now. It only took 1,000 episodes to finally get verified on something. Instagram stand up. All right. We hadn't even been on Instagram that long. So, yeah. Matthew says, in your opinion, Blake, does BK seem to be in panic mode, or is it justified with the $5 super chat? Thanks, Matthew. I don't know if he's in full panic mode, because all week he said, look, we're going to be a better team. We're going to be a good team. We're going to be a good team. We're going to be a good team. You got Saban out there today, too. Like, Saban's on game day today, which I hadn't forgot about Notre Dame. I know I'm 25 minutes into this damn show. I ain't forgot about Notre Dame. Don't you worry. I ain't forgot about they ass. Oh, I ain't forgot about Notre Dame. No, sorry. I hadn't. I don't think he's in panic mode. I think that he is trying to get the bullshit out of the culture. I think that he thought that he would have the bullshit out by now. You know, like, look, man, I know that Kyron wants to score there, but you got to understand hurling an opponent and you possibly getting hurt, like those kinds of small things. You know, like those kinds of small things. I don't think he's in panic mode yet, Matthew, but I will tell you where I'm not in panic mode, but in this, don't take this that way. I'm not in panic mode, but what is your level of concern? Put it inside the chat right now, all of you. What is your level of concern with this running game? I'm going to ask you. Send in super chats if you'd like. Call into the show in a minute. But what is your level of concern in this game? I know mine. I certainly know mine. All right. Leighton Linder with a $10 super chat. Thank you so much, good sir. Says, obviously, too many questions and concerns remain. I love LSU, but must admit, if it weren't for you, I wouldn't know most of the lower classmen and what to expect. Potential. Thank you, Blake. Go Tigers. Thank you, Wyatt. Makes me feel good. Thank you. Leighton. Here's what I'd say, man. I thought that you had some really good play from your younger guys. Let's go down the line. Juwan Johnson tonight, I thought played pretty special. And because, guys, I mean, he went to running back on Wednesday. Let's get it here. John hurts his ACL on Tuesday. Juwan Johnson goes to running back on Wednesday, and by Saturday, he's catching a touchdown pass. I know that it's probably easier said than done. I get all that. You tell him to run in the flat. We're going to throw you the football. I get all that. Maybe he can be a weapon for you. You need him there. You need him. I do hope that somebody asks, and I don't go to Monday press conferences. You know my gig by now. You can either get over it over 1,000 episodes. I don't go to games. We're here. We're doing post-game stuff, just how we roll. But I hope somebody on Monday asks BK about who's the backup edge star behind Major Burns. Because that was Juwan Johnson. That's not Juwan Johnson anymore. So I hope that question gets asked. I'm going to be real with you. I thought Deshaun Spears was the best freshman tonight because he actually gave a shit. And I know the culture of football team that a guy like Deshaun Spears comes from because I played in it. I played in it for 4 years. The culture, guys, we talk about culture. We talk about tenacity. We talk about all that shit. It's like Deshaun Spears coming from Denham. It's like the same discipline you would get from a guy like Duke Riley coming from John Curtis. Maybe not every time they're putting in NFL guys or guys that could play at LSU, but when they do, they're the most disciplined human being on the field. That's what you see from Deshaun Spears. Guys, Deshaun didn't do necessarily anything, quote-unquote, special. Had a great PBU tonight, okay? But what did he do really well? He played the game exactly how the play was called and played inside the system. Guys, when you play inside the system and you have talent, you will be noticed. You will be noticed. Why do you think guys like Saban talk about that all the time? Kirby talks about that all the time. I mean, some of your freshmen gave a little bit more of a shit tonight than most. I thought Gabe Rutherford played good. Gabe Rutherford was kind of all over the place. Got to get a little better in run game. And then Ahmad Bro. Guys, Ahmad Bro cannot be in there on rundowns. Sorry. He was in there last week. He was in there this week. Right now, he's not ready for rundowns. Passing downs, get him in there. You need to get him in there. You know, you get a tackle for loss and 2nd and 10 or 2nd and 12. You want to get him in there, that's fine. Okay? But Ahmad, we got to do something with Ahmad because he's too good at rushing the passer for what's going on to him in the running game. Hal Mendoza with a $2 super chat says the 2025 class can't come enough, though. Well, I mean, you don't have anybody that's going to replace them on the offensive line in the interior. I mean, you do have interior pieces. You got the big kid from Arkansas, the Bama kid. I mean, yeah, but those kids are going to come in and play immediately. Matthew, again, with a $2 super chat says the 64 yards and Nuss had 13 of them. Shit is comical. Look, here's what I'd say, and I'm sure Brian Kelly's going to address this in the postgame. Okay, I'm sure he'll address it, and what I'm sure he's going to say is that they're not trying to force injuries. The bigger question is, what's going on with Jacoby and Guillory? That's a bigger question, which Brian Kelly apparently in his postgame press conference just said that he did not get a report on Jacoby and Guillory. He says there is more imaging done to understand the severity of the injury. Guys, if you're in an air cast in a wheelchair, I mean, unless dude pulls a Paul Pierce, you know what I mean? Like, unless he pulls a full Paul Pierce in the finals, dude, I mean, that's not good. That ain't good. All right. Let's see. Anthony B. Saints sends a $2 super chat, says, Blake, you sure Matt House wasn't calling plays? No, here's what I think happened in the running game, okay? What happened in the running game from a play calling standpoint was I feel like when they were game planning for Nicholls on Tuesday, they came into it and BK told Blake, stay simple. You know, stay conservative, stay simple. Don't do anything spectacular, right? Like, I think that happened. But there does come a point in game where you got to abandon that, right? Like, you have to abandon that specific thing. and then go from there, man. I mean, like, it's not that difficult. And you know who else I thought played well when he was in was Sean Washington at times. But Sean can't do it by himself. Gio Paez was a non-factor. Because your interior defensive line got pushed around because here's the truth. And we're going to talk about this in just a moment. Actually, I'm going to get to it right now. I think that there's more parity in college football. You can't look at week 2 and say that there's not something going on in college athletics, and especially in college football when you have week 2 going on. Now, this sport can be wacky. You know, we saw South Florida and Alabama tonight, and last year they got into a little scuffle. But, I mean, look, man, you got Notre Dame. Notre Dame, what happened? You got Notre Dame losing in Northern Illinois. And you know what's so funny? Our dudes over at Always Irish was commenting on all of our stuff this week. Rafino and Joe, AYS, on Twitter. He was talking all kinds of crazy shit about Brian Kelly. Well, Notre Dame fans, here's the God's honest truth. Here's what we all need to be doing. We need to be worried about LSU. Y'all need to be worried about Notre Dame. But here's something Brian Kelly ain't done in the last 3 years. He hasn't lost to Marshall, and he hasn't lost to Northern Illinois. And that, in and of itself, is the damn truth. I try to tell you about the situation with Riley Leonard. You would think that an LSU guy, when your OC just left and went to Notre Dame, maybe there's still connections there. No, you didn't listen. It's okay. Because when we come out here and tell you little small things that we're hearing about Notre Dame, maybe you should listen. We have playmakers on the outside this year. No, you don't. No, you don't. Your defense is still really good, but I don't have any of the stats. Maybe the interns can pull these up. I don't have any of the stats for the Notre Dame game in front of me, but it felt like every short yardage, Northern Illinois was lining up and saying, watch this shit. But it's not just LSU tonight. It's not just Notre Dame. It's not just – I don't know. I don't know. Here's a conspiracy theory I have. Conspiracy theory I have about LSU tonight is that Brian Kelly, he wanted to talk about finishing because you didn't finish last weekend. Maybe make it close and then finish. Maybe there's a game inside the game that Brian Kelly's trying to pull, one of those old tricks up his sleeve to help build culture. Maybe, I don't know. But Notre Dame, bro. What is going on? This is why I love college football, because I, for a week, get to go out there and talk all kinds of crazy shit about Notre Dame. Now, here's the truth. They're probably going to win the next couple of games. But it doesn't matter. You lost to Northern Illinois. Your O-line got pushed around. Couldn't be us. Maybe it is a little bit. Cody McGee with a $10 super chat says, is there going to be a troll tomorrow on Rafino and Joe show? Biggest concern is penalties in the running game. Let's look at what they had at penalties. I don't even know what they had on penalties. Let's look at this, Cody. Let's look at LSU's penalties. 7 for 37. I mean, that's not great. It's a lot better than last week. You know, lot better than last week. Cody, here would be a bigger concern that I'm looking at if you're looking at something like at penalties. I don't like the time of possession. That's like, Cody, here's what I fully believe and why tonight's game aggravates me. Because I think that you had so many things that you wanted to try to check off in this game. And here's what the coach speak is going to be. Oh, you don't come in these games just trying to check boxes. Yes, you do, because you said it last year against Grambling. When Jaden Daniels went out there and pulled Grambling's pants out and pulled his pants down, major pause, sorry to Jaden Daniels and his family, and started smacking that ass. Brian Kelly came in I listen to every Brian Kelly media thing. I don't know if y'all do. Maybe it's because I'm in the business. Probably I need to. But Brian Kelly talked about every check that he wanted to, get to that they got to last year. Well, no. 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 But as my conspiracy theory goes, maybe Brian Kelly's being one of those old tricksters. The old Nick Saban mantra of doing things. We're going to beat South. All right, we're going to beat South Florida 17-13, and we get this team back on track and win the SEC. Which, by the way, I put that tweet out this week. I mean, any team that loses this week, guys, it's not even remotely close to being over. Like, we love that Notre Dame got their asses beat. None of that shit matters. None of that shit matters because they could potentially lose another one. And then, I mean, God, with this season, who knows? Maybe 3 losses does get in. Christian Nielsen on YouTube says that old trickster BK. Maybe he is, man. Maybe he is. Hell, I don't know. Anthony on YouTube says a $5 super chat says, hit the panic button, concerned only because everyone's saying LSU online was labeled as the best in the country. Well, it's not just here locally. And I don't think that your tackle play has been bad, Anthony. I think you've been bad in the interior. And I will continue to say this, right? Like I'm going to continue to say it. I think you need to experiment with putting Emory Jones at left guard or right guard for whatever you want to do. Okay, and moving Tyree Adams to tackle. That's what I think. You're not playing well in the interior. You're not. That's more of the truth than anything. And Will's got to cut. Look, man, you know what I do? I'm going to let y'all behind the curtain a little bit. Cortez Hankton is wide receiver room. Go look this up on Twitter if you'd like. They came to the stadium today, the wide receiver room, in a black suit, white shirt, or black shirt, and black tie. Business. They didn't come in that flashy stuff, right? They came there for business. And I think that look, I love NIL. I really do. I love it for the players. There's revenue sharing coming. Guys, come on. Have your own opinion. I don't care. But there comes a point where the swag that you bring to the game better start showing up on the field. As an example, right? Like, we make fun of these professional athletes for the shit that they wear to games, but Dylan Cruz can wear what he wanted to wear to the game today, which, by the way, was a Jaden Daniels jersey, or yesterday, whatever it is. And then today he gets a letter-high fastball, and he sends that shit over the bleachers, right? Like, I mean, that's the kind of shit that I'm talking about. If you're going to show up, you better play like it. That's why Dion and them got their shit kicked in. They're all about flash and glamour, but meanwhile, both lines of scrimmage are ass cheeks. By the way, I'm going to let you in on another little secret not really behind the scenes. Here's another little secret. More than likely in 2 weeks, we're going to have an undefeated Vandy and an undefeated Missouri, which will be a prime time SEC matchup in week 4. Think I'm playing. Watch what's going to happen. They're going to make that a prime SEC game. Barring one of them slips up and does something absolutely dumb. And reference to Anthony's point here, I am not hitting the panic button. Not hitting the panic button at all. Not yet. Dr. John Sibley Butler on YouTube, thank you so much, Doc, says, please compare Nuss to St. Joe Burrow's first year as a Tiger. Do you see something similar? Here's something that's going to sound like a negative, but it's really a positive. They're both working. Like when I saw Joe early, I felt like Joe, if he knew the coverage, Joe was going to let that thing hum. I think over time and experience, Garrett will gain into that. Like, Garrett is looking like a first-time starter. I mean, he really, really is. But I think Garrett is making a lot of processes. A lot of things that he's doing has been good. He's got some things he's got to work on, guys. I mean, come on. Y'all think I'm hammering on the kid. I'm really not. I love tonight that he took the ball and ran a little. Guys, you got to keep them conservative. You got to keep them on their toes. I thought there were a couple of – here's what I'd say, Dr. Butler. Here are a couple of things that I need to see fixed, right? Like, some things that I need to see fixed are you took a couple of deep shots tonight that you did not hit on. And there are a couple times that Garrett was a little too amped and let it throw. I mean, all of his throws, like the first drive that you had and then the third drive that you had, all of his incompletions is because he's throwing the ball too hard, not enough touch. And I also think that that's what Burrow – go back and watch 18. Burrow struggled with that shit a lot. So if there's similarities there, yes. I still think Joe is more athletic, right? Like, Joe 100% is more athletic than Garrett, but that's what I'd say. Garrett certainly has a bigger arm than him, but Garrett is not more accurate. I would take the accurate guy more than the guy with the bazooka any day of the week. That's a personal preference. Always will be. Thank you so much, Dr. Butler. All right. Is it about that time? Oh, shit. Boise State is up on number 7 Oregon 20-14 in the or at halftime. Dude, this season is You know what also it felt like? Let me get this up. God, no, guys, I got to do it on my end. Thank you for asking, though. I didn't pull it up before the game. All right, we're going to take some call-ins here. That's my fault. Bad podcasting. All right, let's get to it. You can call in 225-435-9387. 225-435-9387. If you want to call into the show, what you think of the game, we'll bring you in here. So here we go. All right, you're on the phone with Blake Ruffino. This is the AYS postgame show. Who do we have the pleasure of talking to?
Hey, Blake. It's Dakota.
Hey, Dakota, what did you think of the game?
Well, we need to improve our run game a lot, like you said. I thought Garrett played pretty well. I think each game he's played so far, I think he's improved, but as the game he plays, but I still think he's got to work better on his deep ball. But as for the defense, we started out pretty slow, and I gotta agree with what you said though. Like, we gotta play better in the interior of our offensive line.
No doubt. I mean, look now, Dakota, I'm just going to tell you, if you don't play better in your interior defensive line going up to South Carolina next week, you're going to lose.
And it's game day too. College game day is going to be there.
Dakota, I hate the ever living shit out of that. How do you feel about it?
Me too. I don't like that because that just tells that South Carolina fans are going to get cocky in that game. But we gotta, like you said, we gotta put the big boy pants on and go out there and play.
We really do, man. We really do. I appreciate the phone call, Dakota.
Thank you, Blake.
All right, you're on the phone with Blake Ruffino. This is the AYS postgame show. Who do we have the pleasure of talking to?
Hey, Blake, it's Stephen Young. How you doing?
Like the Stephen Young from the chat?
Same one from the chat, yes.
Did you play quarterback for the 49ers?
No, I didn't. I'm not that old.
All right. What did you think of the game, Stephen?
I totally agree with you. The inability to stop the run inside and the inability for LSU to run inside is a big deal. It's a massive deal.
Okay, why do you think? Well, you know what I believe, so let's hear. What do you think? What do you think's going on?
Well, I mean, look, man, I know Blake Baker has a problem in this game, but so does the offense, right? I mean, Nuss threw for a shit ton of yards and a shit ton of touchdowns. Like, it was a banner game for it, but that you can't do that going forward.
No, you do that. I'm telling. Listen to me now. Y'all think I'm playing? Do that next week. See what's going to happen.
Oh shit! South Carolina's going to beat your ass.
I know they will. And people, LSU fans on Twitter think it's a game. I mean, they've been arguing with me about it all day long. You know,
they don't understand this, man. You've got to be able to run the fucking football, and you got to be able to stop the run.
I agree.
And so I mean, this is a big deal. Like, I'm parroting what you're saying because it's 100% right.
Well, here's the question. Do you experiment putting Emory Jones at guard?
I really don't know.
Can you experiment against a defensive line like South Carolina? And is it fair to experiment for Tyree Adams on what might be the best defensive end in the country, or at least it seems like the country right now, even though he's a freshman?
Well, I don't honestly. I don't really know if that's going to be effective, but you have to do something, right?
I would. Here's the thing, man. You got 5 days to practice. You got to do it once. You got to give it 15 plays in practice this week to see what it looks like. And then I don't know if you don't, put like a Collage Cobbins on Tyree Adams because the other kid's really a real speedster. I don't know if you don't try to start giving him looks. I mean, I don't. What's so crazy about this is it's all three of them in the interior, and we're putting Tyree at guard, which he's not a guard. That's.
Wait. Let me ask you. Let me ask you a question, Blake.
Okay.
Why are we putting Tyree at guard? I mean, really, why are we doing it?
I really don't have an answer for you. See, when I look at position battles like this, here's what I think about them. I think about what would be best for the guy coming in, right? Like, it's not necessarily for what's better for the guy that's already in there, but if Tyree can't play guard, but he's better at tackle out in space, that's why not utilize him. And let me give this example. You did it last year when Hurd had to come in the game.
Yep.
Right? Like, so you've already experimented with this and was arguably your best offensive game to some extent against Mississippi State, who was just booty cheeks last year. So I don't know. I don't know why they're not experimenting with it.
But I will just say this, man. If you can't run the ball in the middle, and this is, I like that we won the game. This was a week that went crazy. Like, Alabama was in a dogfight.
Yeah, I mean, Oregon's in a dogfight right now.
And Notre Dame lost their damn game. But at the same time, you're not doing anything. And Nicholls, I know Nicholls is a FCS, tournament team. That's fine. But you're not doing anything to help yourself.
No, you're not.
And that's what's so frustrating here.
You had a
am I wrong here?
No, you had a lot you had to work on, and you didn't get to it. But hey, I'm sorry to do this to you, man. But this is like
no. I know we got other callers. I appreciate you, Blake. I love you. It's awesome.
Thank you, brother. We'll talk soon. All right, you're on the phone with Blake Ruffino. This is the AYS postgame show. Who do we have the pleasure of talking to?
My name is Faisal.
Hey, Faisal, what'd you think of the game?
Big concern. We brought in Blake Baker for the defense. Last 2 weeks, I mean, in my opinion, Perk is nowhere to be found. Watching your entire summer, you said, Perks is all over the place making plays.
He was
coming to real good. Yeah, and I saw that. All the videos they posted and everything. and then you come into the season. All right, you think USC is a good team, so that's a fair enough judgment he made someplace. But against Nicholls, it's like he was MIA. I didn't see him. I don't remember them calling his name, barely ever.
Here's the thing that I'll say with Perk. In the inside, I don't think he had a good game. Well, against USC, he was your leading tackler. So I don't, the people's opinion that he didn't play well against USC, I think you were looking at that as one play because he made multiple tackles for loss. You can't say a guy that had multiple tackles for loss didn't do anything last week. I just don't think that a game where it's going to be vanilla and you don't like, for example, Perkins isn't going to flash in a preseason because you're not doing anything. You're not moving him around. And when he's inside that box, that's going to be a problem. We can't say Perkins didn't make any tackles or didn't have any big plays last week when they shadowed him multiple times in the past game, had two guys or two guys at minimum at times. A back would go to him every single time. Okay, when in pass pro, so we can't say that. And then there was multiple times that he had 2 tackles for loss in the running game. So I get what you're saying. Tonight, I don't think he played well, but I can't say that last week he didn't play well when he had two tackles or at least one tackle on third down and where they had to punt the football. I can't do that, Faisal. Sorry.
No, I agree with you there, but my concern here is that I think we're misusing him. Because as a freshman, if you remember, he was just out there making plays. We put him on the edge.
Hey, so let me rudely interrupt you right there. What do you do with him in the running game? If he's not doing good at the running game in the interior, what does he do in the running game at the edge? What's the difference?
I feel like he takes up more blockers, right? So it gives the other
Does Harold need more blockers on him? He's 225 pounds.
I agree, but I mean, it just doesn't seem like I had him sleeper as a Heisman candidate in my opinion.
You better cash out that. That ain't happening.
Absolutely, right. But yeah.
All right, thank you, Faisal. I appreciate it. All right, if you got a Harold Perkins for Heisman, y'all better cash that shit out right now and get some money back. Get some money back. 225-435-9387. 225-435-9387 is where you call in. All right, you're on the phone with Blake Ruffino. This is the post-game show. Who do we have the pleasure of talking to?
Oh, man, this Kev from Miami from the 305. Now,
hey, hold on. You got to slow down. I didn't hear a word you just said.
I said, this Kev from the 305.
What's up, Kev? What'd you think of the game?
What I thought about the game is that the players we putting on the field right now. So listen, I played football in high school and college. The players we putting on the field right now, it look like they more excited to fight with the other teams than actually do their job. Blake, can you look at Sim and see how many times we got players who want to fight and get in each other's face? When a person get a 7-yard game, 8-yard game, they want to tussle and fight. Like they want to just like put on this facade. Like I'm looking at it. I done seen it about like 15 times in one game. I don't see Georgia players doing this, Texas players doing this. Guess what? A play happened, they back on the line of scrimmage, they focus. No, our players want to wrestle, fight, grab on the other player, get in their face, talk smack. No, we're not good enough to talk smack. We're undisciplined. Everybody want to talk about BK this. No, it's the player. That is a player thing. I'm pretty sure he preached that in the locker room. That's why his hair falling out on the sideline. It is a personnel thing.
Here's what I'm going to tell you, Kev, that pisses me off, but I'm not going to make a big to-do of it. Late in the game tonight, you were up by 13, I think it was, and you had guys over there laughing on the sidelines. And be honest with you, here's the thing. Brian Kelly can only say so much. And I understand that you bring in the culture and you bring in the player. But you and I both know that when we were freshmen, that there are going to be upperclassmen that if you're getting out of line are going to punch your shit in. And I think that's got to start from there in reference to, because like players have to govern players. And in this NIL world, I don't know if that's not one of the biggest issues. Let me give you this point too, Kev. Notre Dame got really flashy with NIL to their standards this offseason. How did that work for them today?
Not good.
Not good. So there's going to have to be governance from somebody that's like, hey, bro, we're getting our shit kicked in. Shut the fuck up. That's what I truly believe has got to happen.
I agree 100%. When I was playing football, we getting just ran all over. Like, they wasn't, like, that was pathetic. For a team to get in Wildcat and say we're Nicholls and you LSU, but we feel like we can run it down the middle.
Bro.
Like this, that's not LSU. I grew up, listen, I'm from Miami. I fell in love with LSU because of the dogs they used to put on the field. We talk smack when we make plays. We don't talk smack when they're getting 7 yards per carry. Like, what is this? South Carolina laughing. I know South Carolina laughing when they watch film. We arguing instead of doing our job. No, it's not a coaching to be certain areas. Yes. But at the end of the day, when I play football, I didn't blame a coach. I gotta go out there and play. They putting people in position. I'm watching people dive at people's legs. When has that ever been football? You're a linebacker. Who taught you to go low? I know it's not Blake Baker. His linebackers last year ain't go low. So why is ours? And we blame the last.
Yeah, you're right. That's not a Blake Baker thing. Thank you for the call, Kevin. I really appreciate it, buddy.
No problem, man.
All right. I mean, look, he's not wrong. I mean, he's not wrong at all. The thing that aggravates me the most, okay, is that I do think that you have some players, but they're not playing up to their potential. All right, you're on the phone with Blake Ruffino. This is the postgame show. Who do we have the pleasure of talking to?
How you doing, Blake? This is B.
What's up, man? What'd you think of the game?
I mean, I want to say the defense was the defense is getting there. I feel like people just need to settle down quite a bit on it, just because it's a new staff and they still breaking it in. Like, it's gonna take at least another 2 games for them to really break the defense in. Like, I feel like we should be more so adjusted once we get to that Ole Miss game. But for now, it just feels like they're still doing a lot more.
Well, here's what I'm going to say to that point to really interrupt you, okay? I'm not even worried about the Ole Miss game anymore, because here's the God's honest truth. Now, when I say stuff like this, people claim that I'm trying to get, clickbait for the whole next week, and it's just not true. Look, I don't know if anybody's been paying close attention to South Carolina the last 2 weeks. But again, in the last 2 weeks, they've given up a total of eight points per game. Okay, and they played a team inside this conference. I don't care if it's Vandy, right? Like, you play Kentucky. So there comes a point where I wanted to start getting stuff fixed tonight, right? Like, because if you can't, here's the thing, in a perfect world, midway through the third quarter, you're running Ricky Collins in the second unit out there because you've hung 60 on him, right? But and even if it's not even the third quarter, even in the fourth quarter, those are the things. God forbid Ricky's got to come in next week. God forbid, because now you can get him any reps going into this week. That's what's so worrisome to me, brother.
Yeah, and that's what I was used to. Like,
you did it last year.
That's what I was used to. Like, when Jay Millie and Maul and all them and Ricky and all us, like, as soon as we leave out, we was used to, like, the second string and everybody coming in and finishing off the game and stuff. Like, the Miles era and everything, like, we was used to blowing them out and then putting everybody else in and saving everybody for the next week, for the next big game, which would usually be Auburn or somebody. But we got South Carolina at 11 a.m., which
on game day
don't do good in the morning. We don't do good in the morning. Like, and it's game day now. So now we got pressure in the morning time.
Yeah.
And the last time we played in the morning, I don't know if you remember, it was Tennessee, and it was in our stadium.
Well, last time we played 11 was Texas A&M. It was your last game, if you remember, with Jaden Daniels. Yeah. All right, man. I appreciate the phone call. Thank you. All right. We'll take a couple more here. 225-435-9387. 225-435-9387. All right, you're on the phone with Blake Ruffino. This is hey.
What's up, Blake? How are you?
Good. We got you on the radio down though. My eardrums just exploded. How are you?
I'm fine. Just quickly. Wasn't too impressed with the interior line play, especially from the two guards. How do you think LSU's interior offensive line matches up with the good to great interior line play we're going to see in the SEC this year?
On the teams that you play, I mean, look, here's the truth. You play Alabama, they got in a dogfight. You play Ole Miss, they played the kid for the deaf and blind, so you have no idea where they are. South Carolina pushed around probably the best interior defensive lineman in the country today. Let's see what else. Who else or do we play? Oklahoma just, I think, maybe beat Houston. They were in a dogfight. Their interior offensive line sucks, and defensive line got pushed around a little bit. Defense was fine for Oklahoma, but at times when whoever they were playing, I forgot, they got pushed around. I don't think anybody right now, if I'm being honest, the only one that showed that they're worth the shit right now is South Carolina. I mean, because, again, they're making so many plays. And guess what? Everybody in the building knows that they're running the football, and nobody – in the last 2 weeks, nobody can do anything about it. So those are the two things that I'd say is, man, really they're most proven, I guess, at the current moment on opponents that you'll play because nobody's really played anybody.
I feel that.
Appreciate
Thank you so much, Blake.
No problem. Phone call. We'll take a couple more. Try to get him in. I know that a lot of people are trying to call in. All right. You're on the phone with Blake Ruffino. This is the postgame show. Who do we have the pleasure of talking to?
All right, this is Cutter.
What's up, Cutter? What'd you think of the game? What'd you think of the game? Turn the radio down or turn the show down in the back.
All right, hold on.
All right.
All right, there we go.
All right, there you go, Cutter. What'd you think of the game?
A lot of miscommunication. I thought Nussmeier looked good. I thought Nussmeier looked great, actually.
I wouldn't put the label of great on him. Let me tell you why. Because you needed to go in this game connecting on deep passes, and you didn't hit one of them. So for me, Cutter, a great performance is at least 2 of those 8 deep shots he would connect on, right? Like that would make it great. I think you got really good play tonight, but what about the 10 incompletions he had and 8 of them coming from passes over 20 yards that you didn't connect? Like at some point in these games, you're going to have to connect on those.
I agree. But what about the offensive line? This is
not good, Cutter. Not good.
This all-American offensive line that we were supposed to be dominating people. Dominating. Especially in the run game. And we can't do shit in the run game.
No.
That's not helping Nussmeier.
No, it's not. But those deep shots has nothing to do – missing those deep shots has nothing to do with the run game either. The only thing you would say is that, teams are having better safety help. But I think that – here's what I think is happening with Nuss on those. I think he's used to the last 4 weeks of Chris Hilton going down on him, that Kyron's not that fast, and these overthrows are to a guy that he's not used to throwing to. That's what I think.
And I was about to say that.
Yeah, that's what I truly think.
What difference does it make with Chris Hilton being in that lineup?
Massive. Because now, Cutter, this is what we talked about all week. What did Nicholls do to come out in the game? They went bump and run man-to-man coverage on you. And they play a single high safety at times. I mean, teams are not going to respect you until you can hit a pass deep. You hadn't done one. You done one was the Kyron Lacey touchdown, but last week. But anyway, gotta change. Thank you for the call, Cutter. I appreciate it, man. All right, we'll take one more. 225-435-9387. 225-435-9387. Give us a call. All right. You're on the phone with Blake Ruffino. This is the AYS postgame show. Who do we have the pleasure of talking to?
Yo, what's up, Blake? It's Ross, man.
What'd you think of the game, man?
Man, I thought we were supposed to have one of the best O-lines, man. We're getting pushed around like a bunch of wussies, man. I mean, let's just be honest. Our defense looks like crap. You know, our offensive line's getting pushed around by Nicholls. I mean, where's the common denominator here? We have no run game. Can't run versus Nicholls. Man, to be worried about UCLA and South Carolina is crazy to me, man.
UCLA, yes. South Carolina, I'm not going to go that far. I'll tell you what. They've recruited really well on their defensive line because it was such a problem. A lot of their NIL efforts went towards the defensive line. And look, that's why Clemson has a good D-line. Whatever is in the water, they're just producing defensive linemen the way that the state is of South Carolina, the way that you produce wide receivers. I agree in the sense of that you won tonight, 44-21, but you didn't win the way that would make you feel good going into a game next week. I feel like that is the common theme of fans. Am I off?
No, you're 100% right. You're 100% right. I'm not gonna lie, Blake. I left the stadium at halftime. I couldn't watch it anymore, dude. It's deflating. It's deflating at this point.
I feel you, brother. I feel you. It really is. I appreciate the phone call, man. Thank you.
Have a good night, Blake.
All right, you too. All right. We are out of here. We are out of here. I guess we'll see y'all on Monday. Notre Dame. Oh, God, Notre Dame. What happened? Always Irish. What happened? What happened? Trolled me for a week, and then trolls in the Huskies of Northern Illinois, and your cheeks got clapped. I will continue to say this. Y'all better be worried about what's going on in South Bend, Indiana, more than you're worried about us. That's all I'm going to say. See you Monday. Peace.